Hello, how's it going? How's everyone doing? I'm here with my good friend Jamal. Do you want to say hello?
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Jamal runs Your Social Currency. Do you mind saying a little bit about the company and a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So, like Sheni says, co-founder Your Social Currency. We're a personal brand agency. We specialize in entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs, and we do like full stack offer. So we ideate for the client, position them, film them, edit, post their content, respond to comments, and then we also do like the back end monetization. So we do their high ticket offerings, we do their brand deals, and we also do speaking arrangements for them.
Nice. So very much full stack when it comes to personal branding and for content as well.
Yeah.
Where would you say the team was before we started working together, which was a while ago now, versus now?
Yeah, we started working together over a year ago, like maybe even, I don't know if it's 2 years, but it was a while ago. It was a while ago. And yeah, so I think when we started, we was probably about a team of six. It was like doing six figures. Now we're a team of 18 people and we're doing seven figures. So you could say we basically tripled in all metrics, if you like, at least.
Nice. So could you give a brief background into just some of the stuff that was built, how that affected the team, what was going on beforehand when we started? I know you guys were on Notion doing a bunch of stuff before we came in.
So like a big part of our offering obviously is production, which from a content perspective is like filming, editing, making these like content calendars to show to the client to see what's going out, when it's going out. So beforehand we was using Notion. It was okay when we had like 5 clients. As we started to scale up, it just became like a fucking mess, you know? We kept having to rebuild everything custom, and then one person would change it a bit, then another person would come and change it a bit, and it was just built very inefficiently. And we'd use it would be like basically to track edits going through the pipeline, also track ideation, also build content calendars, but nothing really connected with each other well, because we also use other programs, like we use Slack, and we used Frame, and we had some automations in place, but like very basic zaps that worked most of the time, but sometimes they didn't. So we had something in place to start with, paid someone like fuck all for it, but what we needed. So that was kind of the state beforehand. Like the consequence of that was we're losing track of edits. We don't know how much the editors are doing each day. Like things are just getting lost. Yeah, it was just a fucking mess. Like I could talk forever about all the problems with it. So that's kind of how it was before. The work that was done was essentially just really rebuilding the entire pipeline. Sheni spent a lot of time with us kind of understanding like how does the business run, who talks to who, what's everyone's responsibilities, how does it move from the idea at the start to like the final endpoint of delivery. So we spent a lot of, like, I think we did like 6-7 hours of calls just on that. A lot of time like really mapping it out, but it was needed because our thing was such a mess. And then what we did is just build, what Sheni did was just building out that pipeline. So we moved from Notion to Airtable, which had a lot more like automation integrations. So it was linked very well with our Slack, with our Frame, even with like our Google Drives. I think there was others as well, but there's shit ton if I'm honest. So the first thing was like getting everything all in one place. So we had like a Kanban tracking system, which wasn't too dissimilar to Notion in terms of how it looks, but the functionality was like much better. Also like the Frame integrations were really good. So like if anyone's kind of in content, Frame is like the go-to in terms of feedback. It's very useful. You can version assets, you can comment exactly where in the video you want changes made, but integrating that into other softwares has been very difficult. But Sheni was able to do that like really well. So the status would change in Frame and it would automatically move into another folder, so we can categorize where in the journey of the edit this video is. So it was very easy for the editors to just come into Frame and just see, oh, I can go here, I can go there, or they can go into Airtable and also see like, this is the thing I need to do today, this is the priority, these are like things that I've had comments on. So it was all very automated, it was all very clear in terms of like a prioritization to-do list, what needs to be done, what client is like ahead of their workflow, what client is behind. And another thing that was really helpful was tracking the editors, like how much edits are they doing a day, because if we got one editor that's doing 10 edits or one editor that's doing half an edit, then one of them has to fucking go, you know. But there was no way to tell that before in like a outside of like, oh, I kind of feel like this person's doing more. So yeah, that's kind of like the full thing, I think.
100. I actually wanted to talk a little bit more about the auditing process as well, because that I know Ali absolutely hated it up until now, but obviously it had to be done and everything.
Sure.
Walk me through sort of like the process and how that was able to clarify a little bit more about what you guys were actually doing, because throughout a lot of the editing process, lot of that was kind of down pat, there were some other elements and other aspects to the business that I feel like you kind of like got a better understanding of during that process. Do you want to elucidate a little bit further?
Yeah, for sure. So like most startups or like agencies, when we're early in our journey, we've just figured it out. There is no standardized way of doing anything. We're just fucking cowboys, right? That have figured out a way to get people to give us money. So when we started, Sheni's asking us a lot of questions that we didn't really have the answers to, where it's like, okay, so what normally happens at this point? And me and Ali were just saying, oh, we just do this. Or like we're figuring out the answer to the question as Sheni answers, because we've never actually had to ask the question internally. Because everyone here has been here long enough, they kind of just know how things work. Because we're a small team, right? So like comms is very easy at that stage. We haven't had scaling issues at that time. So that process, why it was so important is because it made us understand what actually needed to be done and what was most useful and highest leverage for us. I think, as founders, we kind of expect someone to just come in and just fucking sort it out. But if they don't know what they're sorting out, they can't sort it out. So yeah, like Sheni says, Ali was resistant to that process at first. He's like, we've been on this call for fucking hours. But it's essentially like downloading your brain into Sheni so that you can then go operate and like execute what needs to be done. So yeah, that process was arduous. It was long, it was tiring, but it was needed. And then at the end of it, even just seeing, before you even done anything, just seeing it mapped out, it was like, oh, actually, you start to just notice inefficiencies yourself, where it's like, when you write it down, you're like, oh, is that actually how we do it? That doesn't make any sense. It should be like, what, there's like 5 steps, it only needs to be 2, so even that, there's a lot of back and forth between 2 people when it's, oh, actually, let's make it more clear when the handover happens and things like that. So yeah, mapping out that process was actually like really good. Outside of even the build, it was helpful because it also changed how we did some things internally.
No, 100%. And I even noticed that, especially with some of the other people that I've been working with and some of the stuff that I did with you, which is very similar, getting through that entire process and just understanding sort of like everything that's about to happen is just as important as understanding how you guys are currently doing it now, because it then almost gives you a little bit of the IKEA effect with what's about to happen insofar as the automations and the build outs that are going to happen as well. So that is something that I definitely wanted to just like put a pin on, because that was super important. And I felt like that kind of like gets lost when it comes to talking about the newest thing in AI or whatever it may be. Like, you need to get the operations down and everything before anything can actually get built for it to, to last the test of time. It's been a ton of time since that's been in place. So it's good to see that it's all still working the same way it has been. So, you guys are up to, 18 members of staff. You guys work with pretty high-flying people insofar as just like influencers, people in business, especially in the UK. What have you guys been able to accomplish with them since we've started working together?
A good question. A lot of stuff. So like obviously we focus a lot on their monetization, but for us to focus on monetization, the content has to be running smoothly. So like we say, the root of all our business is content. Like, we focus on gaining attention, and once we have attention, we monetize it. So what the system has really kind of helped us, it just makes that content side run a little smoother, so me and Ali could take our headspace away from that and then think, how can we monetize our clients better, and then for our clients, we've done all sorts. Like, we ran a campaign with one of our clients. He got Sunday Times #1 bestseller. We launched a high ticket mentorship program for one of our clients that did 6 figures within 60 days. We negotiated like 6 figures worth of brand deals, 7 figures worth of speaking engagement. So we've done a load of stuff for our clients, right? Most of it being the biggest ROI thing for them is making them money. That's what we've been able to do, and we was only kind of able to do that once we had the production side of things kind of locked in and just running with less of our involvement.
Yeah, because that was able to free up a lot of headspace, especially for you. Congrats on the newborn, of course. So it's very helpful to know that these are going to have effects not just inside of the business but also personally, because there's a lot of the times there's nothing worse than just like not having the right headspace and having to worry about certain things that should just be locked down already.
Yeah, sure, exactly that.
What would you say is the goal for you guys now in terms of where you're looking to go now, and how do you, I guess, plan on getting there?
Just continuing to scale. Like, now we kind of have the systems in place. The next thing is like talent, like finding the best people to put inside this system now. And then obviously with that, getting more clients, which we can scale up the system quite easily. So really, talent's like our bottleneck at the moment, I would say, but got no shortage of leads, no shortage of people that want to work with us. So yeah, it's just more of the same at a bigger scale.
100%. So then at what point would you say a company like yours, who does all the stuff that they do should engage with a team like ours to actually develop out their systems, because it's not for everybody. And I feel like there are some people who have things that are either simple enough or not really, they don't really require the level of build that we have. What would you say is like the right point to engage with somebody like us?
That's a good question. You probably need to be doing at least, like, you've passed the 20K a month mark. At least, I would say. Like, at that point, you're probably going to start to see the first signs of scaling issues. You know, like when you're a very small team, maybe there's 3-4 of you, and you're kind of in fulfillment yourself, and you're doing everything, and you can keep track of everything. You already have a handful of clients. It's probably okay. And the 20K number is kind of arbitrary because it depends what you charge and what your service is. It could be 20 to 30, 40, I don't know. But I would say at least the 20K. Probably before that, you can probably figure shit out. But then, yeah, once you kind of hit that part and you start to scale and you want to take yourself out of parts of delivery, that's when you're going to run into like these operational issues. And I think that's the point where Sheni can kind of step in. I think it's the later you leave it, the more difficult it gets to sort. So I would say like as soon as it would make commercial sense for you. Obviously, like if working for you now and it's fine and you're not really causing any headaches and you're not stressed for time or whatever, then sure. But I would say, yeah, once the operations side of things gets a little bit of a headache, tasks start to get missed. Because of that, the service kind of starts to dip, and you're already doing decently in terms of like monetary income. I would say that would be the time where it makes sense.
Got it. That's a lot of the times I work with people who are actually in that stage. Some people like to get ahead of it. Some people are way past it. And usually that ends up being the sweet spot, which is why it was also really good working with you guys for the length of time that we did as well. One final question. Where would you say people can find you?
Like our services?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. yoursocialcurrency.com, or the same Your Social Currency on Instagram, or it's Jamal, ITSJMAL on Instagram as well. Like, you can find us anywhere there, but you're going to have to join the wait list.
Sweet, man. Thank you very much, Jamal. It's always been a pleasure, man.
All good, bro. Take care.
Take care.